you want to be spoken about positively wherever you are. And your reputation really does precede you. So you want to be that person that is like, I show up for others. I do it in a way that I'm happy with. I'm a woman of my word. I'm going to do the things I say. And that's so important.
Kristina Bartold, she is the founder of High Vibe Women, a Canadian-based female entrepreneur events community. She's also the CEO of Social Snippets, a launch and podcast company.
I never go to an event and I'm looking for ROI the next day. A lot of people go to events and they hold tight. Like, I am so open to relationships going wherever they can, and I network for my network. That is like a huge part of who I am, and I really just want people to get a little closer to their goals, and I see the result of that.
Hi, everyone. Welcome back to the CEO School podcast. I'm your host, Suneera Madhani, and I am so excited to be back in the Hi Hello studio. For my OG listeners, this is the seat and the studio where it all began. I'm actually inside of my first podcast room. And the set that was built for me is like right across. And it always like, I feel like I'm at home when I come into the studio. And I haven't been back in a long time because I've been recording from all of the conferences that I'm at in New York and LA and all of those things. But it's so fun to have a guest and to do it in Orlando. And I'm so excited for today's episode. I just spent an hour and a half with this woman and we can't stop talking. And it's like literally going to be an awesome best friend episode.
Yeah.
I'm with Kristina Bartold. She is the founder of High Vibe Women, which is a Canadian-based women female entrepreneur events community. She's also the CEO of Social Snippets, which is a launch and podcast company. She does the coolest things and she's honestly so sweet. We're going to learn so much on this episode. We've been talking all about building communities, relationships that matter, how to get into the right rooms, and what does it look like to scale and to utilize your influence for scale. So Kristina has all the secrets, and I'm so honored that you're here in Orlando at CEO School. Thank you for coming.
Oh my goodness. Firstly, it was such an honor. So happy that we got connected through our mutual friend, Chris. And yeah, we had such a great conversation on my podcast. I'm just so excited to be here and to share all the deets with your community.
Well, tell us how you got started. So I'd love to hear, tell the audience about your story, your background. How'd you get started, building the Canadian, I'm just going to say it, create and cultivate.
Jacqueline's coming for me. So I am a Canadian. I've lived in Canada my whole life. And when we started building our business, it was a social media agency. So for years I was doing social freelance, but I had kind of a rub on doing social. I was like, I have a master's degree in leadership. Like I shouldn't be doing social media. Like not that I felt like it was beneath me. It just felt like such a left turn. Similarly to you, I'm a first generation Canadian. I come from an immigrant family. And so my parents wanted me to find a job and die at that job. So like your parents seemed a little more into the entrepreneurship thing, not mine. So I had on paper what was my dream job at like 27. I'm working, I'm married, I'm doing the thing. I'm like, I guess I maybe should have a child soon. Like, really just knock these things out. And I started listening actually to Jenna Kutcher's podcast randomly. And
she's the best.
So amazing. And I started to really feel like I was kind of meant for something a bit different. So started a business. It was a leadership coaching business. It took off so fast with social. Like I was like, I couldn't even, like everybody was asking for it. I was like, oh, people are coming out of the woodwork, which was amazing. And it showed me the power of really building a really strong online community. In person, really fed my online community, but I had so many sales. And so we started the Social Snippet from a place of trying to help people with their social media because we noticed that a lot of business owners didn't know how to build community, right? We see people posting online, they're posting, 10 times a day, not growing their following, not being able to make sales, people with huge followings, not being able to sell a t-shirt. So we really wanted to teach people how to build community. And in that came doing podcasting because it was such an easy way. I think podcasting, I'm sure you feel the same, the best networking hack ever. Like even just look at this. Networking.
It really is. That's why I do it for you. Yeah. And I get to meet like my friends are like, why do you still do this? Like the friends that don't understand, like, I'm like, it's not the business. Like I literally get to meet the coolest people. I'm always learning. This is the best way to grow your network is to have a podcast, I think.
100%. You get to bring people in, talk to them. Like I just got to talk to you. I'm like, you're a little genius. Like I got so much information from you. Like, and then that's so selfish, but then I get to share it with everyone else. And I get to be an authority in my niche, right? When people think about community, when they think about podcasting.
Oh, I heard the Canadian about.
Did I
heard it.
You know what? I can't stop it.
No, I love it.
Wait until you get an A out of me. I like hate it. And in the US, it feels like it comes out the most. But Yeah. And as we were growing our business, we scaled it super fast. But the way that we did that was coming to the US all the time. It was just post-COVID. We were coming here for events constantly, like probably like 1 or 2 a month.
Wow.
And
so that's how you were like growing your network by just going to all the rooms.
Yes. And I would say, I always say this on my podcast, it was like, I'm normal and people like me. So it was like, because you meet some weird people in business. Yeah.
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 For sure.
So we would talk to people in the way that we, like for me, it's like, I love giving free secrets. I'll tell everyone anything they want to know.
Me too.
I don't like, people will be like, can I pay you? You just gave me so much information. I'm like, there'll be a time for payment.
People don't do that to me though. They just ask me for a lot and I'm like, here's it all. No one ever's like, here, let me pay you. That doesn't happen to me.
I'm so sorry.
I don't know.
I wonder why. People always ask me, they're like, do you have a link?
I think it's maybe because they think I am wealthy. I don't know. They're like, she doesn't need it.
Yeah. You're probably fine without the $197 for the half an hour.
Yeah. Okay.
But it's just funny. So people always ask, and I'll say, no, I'm just happy to give insights. And so the way we grew our business was really just giving a lot of free feedback all the time, coming to the States, making amazing connections,
and giving feedback on community building.
Yes, on events, like on podcasts, on social, like what people were doing. You know, I would talk to someone who isn't as amazing as you, and they wouldn't even have a podcast. And I'd be like, oh, well, why wouldn't you have a podcast? I don't have to do it for you, but let me just tell you how to do it.
Yeah.
And then people would be like, well, can you do it for me? And it's like, yeah, of course. And then we would help them launch and then become longtime clients. And then that's how we grow our agency. We have about 85 clients on retainer that we work with, and it's growing, which is amazing. And in that time, we'd come back to Canada, we'd be like, where are all the women's events? Like, where are all the women hanging out? Lots of places men hang out, but not a lot of places women hang out. And so we started running these little dinners. They grew into 100-person events, 150, now 200-person events. And we really, our heart is behind bringing women together to grow their network, because we know that when you grow your network, your podcast guests increase, your social following increases, your business increases, just by meeting amazing people.
It's amazing. It's so important to get out of the screen and into the room. Like I always say this, get out of the screen and into the room, because that's where the magic happens. It's through building relationships, because you have to invest time and you have to invest dollars. Right. And so you're like, I'm trying to grow a business. Do I really need to be there? Is it just another networking event? You're like choosing to make these investments. Yeah. How do you kind of balance that with your budgets? And then you're like, okay, I'm going to go. And then how do you really maximize that to go really build like those relationships out of it? Like, are there some, I hate to call it networking hacks, like how are you building the right relationships when you are getting into the room? Because it can be so overwhelming. Totally.
And I went through a year right before I had my baby where I literally was like in every room, like everywhere I was at all times. And it was actually to the point where I was like sick all the time. I was going to rooms, I'd meet people. I couldn't even follow up with people. Like people would take my phone number, they'd text me. And 3 months later, I'd be like, hey, so sorry, coming up for air. And they're like, well, I wanted to launch a podcast. Like that's not a way to grow a business. Right. And so I've actually really streamlined what that looks like for us. And so super happy to share. But the first choice I always make is based on the leadership. So that's important. I actually don't need to become friends with the leader. That's not important to me. Like if I go into a room, my first ever rooms were with Chris and Lori Harder, which I know Lori's mutual for us. And I went into their room and my intention was never to become friends. I am, and that's great. But like with Chris and Lori, I wasn't like, oh, like really hope to make a good impression and hope they hire me. That's never been it. It's always been about the people I'm on the come up with. The people I'm sitting with.
Okay.
You know, who are they? What are they up to? But I know Chris and Lori attract amazing people. Just how I know you attract amazing people.
Yeah.
I know Jacqueline Marina from Green Cultivated attract amazing people. So I really look to the leader and say, like, are they values aligned? I ask people in their community, like, do you enjoy being in that community? What do you think? Like, do you like this? And what's also important to me is that there is a networking component to whatever it is. Like, I'm not looking for like sage on the stage kind of stuff, right? Like if I need a one-on-one mentor, I'll hire one. I'm looking for someone who's cultivating community and a network. I also know for my own personality what works better. So I don't know about you, Suneera, like for me, I love a smaller room.
Yeah.
Like I can go to a 250-person event. I can host a 200-person event, but that's not where the best connections are made for me. Lots of people do find that that's where their connection are. They love speed. They love lots of people. I love intimate. I love 15 people, 20 people, 30 people, or going to a big event that has small components to it.
Yes.
So really just finding that sweet spot.
Proximity is so huge. I feel like
yes, we were just talking about that.
It is investment, but if there's a VIP to something, like
always
get the VIP.
Always.
Like why would you, like you want VIP? Because proximity, and it's like the smaller intimacy, the people that are making, you want to be around people that are also making those larger investments because they're also really just at a different level to do so as well. But proximity And if there's an opportunity to get a closer seat, get the closer seat.
100%.
Yeah.
Even with our event with High Vibe Women, so we run these 200-person events twice a year. Our VIP tickets sell out within like 24 or 48 hours because people are obsessed with the idea of proximity with the speakers, with each other. I think that's so important when you're growing your business, is asking yourself, like, who do you want to grow your business with? And actually knowing that not every room's the right room. Like, even for me locally, there's like, Chamber of Commerce, BNI, whatever. That was kind of where I was like originally. Like, I would put my foot in and I'd go to these meetings. And I'm like, oh, none of these people will ever hire me.
Yeah.
Because they don't see the value in social media. They're so far away from a podcast. Like, it's like not even funny.
Yeah.
They're probably not going to spend $600 on going to an event. This is probably not the best use of my time. And so I'm able to really make those choices. And I think I'm not shy about that. I think sometimes people are shy about that, where they're like, well, I feel like I should do everything because you never know. And it's like, I actually know. Like, I looked at like, a year of data of all the best events I went to.
Wow.
And I went, okay, where was my highest return on my investment? My highest return on investment was Create and Cultivate. And I know that. And they're an amazing community, right? And so I was able to look and say, okay, that's where a majority of my clients and referral partners came from. I'm actually just happy to make referral partners in these rooms I'm in, right? So I think it's about really keeping that open mind when you go to those rooms too, because a relationship doesn't have to sprout that day. And I know for you, probably as you've built your business over years and years now, like, you probably have relationships that have like did not take form.
No. Relationships it's a mutual thing. You have to pour and receive. Pour and receive. That's a relationship. It is not a one-way street. And relationships take time to build. I also think, you made a good point of knowing, what works for you, what you need. I think that that's really important. But also I want to remind everybody that like you have specifically like your service-based business and that's like, you're like, I can grow my business with the right clientele. It's also, you mentioned another room that you were like, I just want to be in because these are my peers to come up with. Yep. I have found that sometimes at events, you should be there to go build those relationships and the business will come afterwards.
100.
And when you are there to go build with that intention, not saying that you shouldn't measure it and you shouldn't do those things right after, right? But I want to make sure that when you're going in with just the intention of like, what I want to get out of this is like 10 awesome relationships. Like that's my measurement of ROI every place that I go. And I'm like, who can I go build? And I usually think about 5. Like 5 for me is like, that'd be wonderful. And it could be across different things. It could be a mentee that I meet. It could be an amazing speaker that I meet. It could be somebody backstage.
Yes.
Right. So 3 to 5 is such a great number that are real. Like that you come back with, you're like, wow, I cannot wait to hop on that phone call with you.
Yep.
I cannot wait to do that follow-up. I can't wait to connect you with this other person. And by giving value to somebody else, that is how I've been able to really cultivate so many relationships. I'm like, I don't even need anything.
Yeah.
You're incredible. Let me connect you to such and such.
Yeah.
When you and I sat down, I'm gonna share with the audience, her and I were talking about my summit, and I was getting we need to talk about like tangible advice on events, community, and all of that here shortly.
Yeah.
But immediately you were like, oh my God, have you done this? Have you connected with this person? Let me connect you here. Da-da-da-da. Immediately I was like, man, she's so awesome. That's so kind of her. That's so incredible. And without knowing it subconsciously, I've already like taken my guard down and I'm like, she's genuinely here to support me. And that's an awesome feeling. Then what happened right afterwards at the end, I was like, oh my God, you should come speak at the conference. You should come do this. Like you should be in da-da-da. And you want to also pour into those that are pouring into you.
Totally.
Not that couldn't have happened or whatever.
No.
That wasn't the intention of why you came here. It wasn't that, but you just were genuine in wanting to help. That is a beautiful thing. And those that show up in rooms to help are just like, that are honest, that are transparent. They're like, I got a person for this. Let me help you with that. They get the most poured into.
I totally agree. And even when I talk a little bit about like measuring, like, my ROI, I never go to an event and I'm not looking for ROI the next day. I'm not looking it's like a year end kind of like, how did that go? I'm not holding tight. And I think that's an important thing too, Suneera. Like a lot of people go to events and they hold tight. Like I paid $3,000 for this event and I better leave with 5. Or that relationship, and you can see it, they treat it like a meat market.
Yeah.
I am so open to relationships going wherever they can. And something I love to do when I'm at these events is I meet with anybody, it's like in my notebook right now. And I meet with anybody and they'll say anything to me. They're like, oh, I'm looking for an ads person. I'm like, Suneera, ads. And then I write that down. And when I get home, I do a mass of introductions. I network for my network. That is like
awesome.
That is a huge part of who I am. And I have given people I have friends who are like, hi, like you blew my business up. Or like I had a friend who wanted to be on one podcast. I introduced her to 18 podcasts because I obviously have clients. And she was like, that was too many podcasts. I was like, sorry, overdid it on the giving. But I really just want people to get a little closer to their goals. And I see, like, not in a manipulative way by any means, but I see the result of that, right? Where anytime I have an ask, people are like bending over backwards. Like, I have a woman who makes referrals for me, and I'm like, that person didn't even want a podcast. They just said the word podcast and you made that referral. That's very kind, but that, like, it wasn't a qualified lead, but no one can even say the word podcast near her without her bringing me up. So kind, right? And that's what you want when you're building. We talked about this on my podcast, this idea of like, you want to be spoken about positively wherever you are. Like, and your reputation really does precede you. So you want to be that person that really is like, I show up for others. I do it in a way that I'm happy with. I'm a woman of my word. Like, I'm going to do the things I say. And that's
really
so
important.
Yes.
Super, super important. I love what you said about you built systems around it. Because I feel sometimes like after I leave a space and I'm like, yeah, we'll get connected. And then it's like you leave and there's like 500 people or like, I mean, not 500, but like there's like 50 follow-ups and you're like, I can't keep up with it. And then it's like 3 months later and you're like, sorry, like that. I feel like a lot of us related to.
Yeah.
What were the systems that you put in place so that when you do make a connection, I'm a huge proponent of process. So tell me about your process.
Yeah, so I write everything down. That's a huge piece of it. Is like, so we'll leave after this. I'll write Suneera. I'll put all of the to-dos down. And after every event I go to, like right here, I'm here to speak at an event in Orlando. On Monday, I have a huge block in my calendar because I know there's going to be follow-ups. I don't leave it to chance of like, oh, I hope I'm going to have time to follow up with these people, or like, I hope I'm going to voice note these people, because I have been in that season before.
Follow-up is on your calendar. It's a strategy.
100%, because the fortune's in the follow-up.
Yeah.
Even if nothing happens today, even if I'm just making a connection for someone, that is what I'm going to do. And when I was earlier stage than I am today, and I had more time than I had money, I would send every single person I met a voice note. Hey, we met. This is the stuff that I really enjoyed chatting with you about. If you ever need anything, I'm here. I would be in a mastermind. I'd get the book of everyone who's in it. I'd book a call with every single person. Like, just to pour into them, just to serve. And so I think really depends on the seasonality of business. I wish I had more time for that kind of stuff now, but it's a blessing that my business has thrived so much. So I think really it is about just finding those like processes so that you're able to move forward. Did I do another Canadian accent?
No, you're just so sweet. And I think that's really, really awesome advice. I'd love for you to share a little bit about podcasting. So you are definitely the podcast queen. Tell me about what the trends are right now for 2026 and what you feel is like the future of podcasting. Is this going to continue to grow? Tell us more about what's happening in the podcasting space first.
Yeah, I think, there's probably people listening to this who have been thinking about starting a podcast but haven't because they think it's oversaturated.
Yeah.
And I'm telling you, we're just getting started. We just saw like a massive award being presented to a podcast right for the first time. We're seeing people use podcasting as more of a medium. It's not just business. Like, everyone's like, oh, everybody has a business podcast. If you have a message, it's different, right? Like, your podcast is different than my podcast. Everybody has a different kind of view. But what we're definitely seeing is like an influx, like certainly on video. So making sure like you're on something like YouTube. YouTube's increasing as a platform for podcasting, even though, if it's going to keep you off of doing it, don't worry about it. Like, just start with audio. But YouTube is a huge one. And the other thing that is becoming really, really big for our clients and is a key to growing is making sure your podcast topics are SEO rich. So this is something people don't think about. They like just jump on a mic and they're like, I'm just gonna talk about like whatever, like YOLO, which like, that's fine. That's gonna get you started. But if you want to be growing, you want to be found, you want to be like seen and maximize your investment of time and likely money, really making sure that your show notes, but also your title are things that people are asking you about. Using it as a library, using it as a spot where people are able to get real resources and really learn from you as an authority, because then you'll start to show up more.
I love that. I think that's really good advice. And I think that is us. It's always going to be there. You can even send clients to it. You can send prospects to be like, oh, I actually did an episode. You could send, that connection that you met. You're like, oh, I actually talked about whatever that they're asking for. Let me like send you the podcast link as well. Got to show up on video, and that does scare people, but it just is. And you just got to get comfortable on, put the camera up, get it done. There's so many amazing like studios that do it now.
Yeah.
And then what about on social? Right. So a lot of it, I feel like there's so many great podcasts. I do feel sometimes like it's hard we're like in year 5. Every year I'm like, I'm shutting down the podcast. Every single year, this amazing audience always brings me back. How long does a podcast? I think Jenna Kutcher just decided that she's not going to continue her podcast. She was one of the first that like I would listen to as well. I was on the Gold Digger podcast. She's so incredible. And I'm like, she made a decision to shut it down. There's a timeline. Is there a timeline? Also, when is it time for a rebrand? Like, can you tell me a little bit about that for those that maybe aren't having, or there might be traction, or is it, what are your thoughts there?
Yeah, traction with the podcast is really hard because like, I think ultimately the question is like, how do you monetize a podcast, right? Because so many people have a podcast, like our mutual friend, Lori, we were talking about this earlier, but like she's been at it for like 9 years. She's top 25. Like she's like getting after it, which is incredible, but that takes some muscle, right? Like she does it rain or shine. They have a family death. She's recording. They're like traveling. She's recording. Like it's like working out, right? It's like you keep it up. So I would say like monetization wise, there's 2 ways to think about it, which is like traditional monetization where you get ads and, you get sponsors or whatever. But really, as a business owner, for those of you CEOs who are listening, using it as like a tool for your business is actually even better ROI. Kind of like what you were saying, Suneera, things like I do tons of episodes about questions people ask me. Like someone asks me a question and I know they're going to DM me this question over and over again. I'm going to record. Yeah, I'm going to record a podcast that I'm like, here's a podcast about monetizing podcasts. I did one today that I released about like, how do you get on your first podcast? Because people are always pitching me and I'm like, I'm not like, not that I'm not going to be your first podcast, but this is probably not the right fit for me. You need to practice a little bit. You need to get some reps in. Here's how I would get some reps in if I was getting started again. Like just things like that where you see those themes of what people are asking you and how it leads to your business. So if I was, I
love that. I need to do, that's what I'm going to do next. I'm going to do like, y'all ask me a lot. I get a lot of the same questions.
Yes.
And I do a lot of interviews.
Yes.
And I have to go back to the solos as well. And I think our solos are actually, they perform the highest actually.
Yeah, they do for me as well. Like I could have a banger guest.
I don't want to be like, I have a guest on, I'm going to tell you my solos perform.
This is going to suck, guys. No one's listening. If you listen to this, please DM me. But no, it's the same. And that's actually normal for podcasts. It's because people are actually listening to the podcast for the host, right?
Yeah.
People are going to be able to hear you or hear me anywhere, right? And so they listen for you. And I'm just a bonus opportunity here. And so what I would say is really just figuring out like how to monetize it best is what's going to keep you in the game. Because why people lose steam is they don't see results, right? They're like, oh, my listener numbers aren't as good as I thought they would be. I'm maybe not monetizing it, or I don't really have the time for it. And so, but when you like anything, when you're doing so well on something, you're not going to cut it while it's high.
There's a lot of people that start a podcast. There's a lot of people that get to like episode 100.
It's like 70% of people stop by episode 10.
By episode 10. Okay. 70% of people. Don't be one of those people. So I think that you have to probably, is there like a questionnaire that like, because you don't even want to take on clients that you're like, how serious are you? Like
That's
this is a real
idea.
I have been doing this podcast for 5 years now.
Yes.
The reason why I'm like,
and
is it time? Like now a flight risk again, right? It's been a long time. And now like my friend Jenna did it and like, maybe I'll say, no, I'm not going to do that.
You know what's so funny though on Threads? Are you active on Threads at all? Okay. I think you killed on Threads. You should be on Threads.
Okay.
But what I will say is people are coming after Jenna on Threads.
Oof.
About it. And because they're like, oh, like now, and then they're saying like, oh, like Jenna like gave up on this, like Jenna lifestyle, blah, 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 blah. Horrible, like absolutely so horrible.
What assholes?
Such assholes, like literally brutal. But what I will say is that like it's a signal.
Maybe she just wants to protect her peace.
No, honestly. But like let the woman evolve. Yeah. This is the thing about Jenna. People are coming after Jenna and I'm like, let the woman evolve. Like we all get the opportunity for some evolution, like it's her time. But what I was going to say is that like because she's canceling her podcast, everyone's kind of like coming after her a little bit on it. But it's like at the end of the day, do you care? And at the end of the day, like if the podcast wasn't bringing her joy or was like taking up too much space and taking up too much time, then that's not the right move for her business.
Or she felt like it was the right ending, right?
Yes.
I think like she closed her book and she wants to put the book on the shelf. Like that was like always a vision for her. And I can relate to that. I can't do something forever.
Yeah.
Right. And so there is a timeline. I built Stocks, my company. There was a timeline to that. Like if I were to be like, man, 30 years and still have the business, like I don't know if I'd have the same passion for it 30 years later. And you have to find joy in it. You have to like, and that's where like do a rebrand, do something fresh. But most people don't make it that far. And I think that when you start a podcast, it's just easier. Like for me, I'm like, this is easier for me to have a conversation, build my network, share my stuff with my audience. I did the platforms where I'm on like a network, monetized against ad spend and stuff like that. And I'm like, oh my God, it's so cringe for like the dollars aren't like really affecting the bank in that way. I'm like, let's just pull it off and like just give value.
Yeah.
I know what my reason is. And so if you're looking for a podcast to go for virality, that's not a good reason to start a podcast.
No.
It's really for the clients that you serve, I think, is the ones that end up becoming successful.
Yeah. Like if you need 2 reasons, I would say it's the clients you serve, the people you're showing up for over and over again, or 2, like what do you need to make it fun? Like for me, I love doing the solo because it actually does save me time long-term because I'm like, here's this episode. Like I talked about this, but also like I get to have amazing conversations. And I think if you frame your podcast in a way that like brings you joy, it makes a big difference. When you had asked about rebranding, you're right. A lot of people don't get to that point, right? Where they're like, it's episode 6, they're dead inside, it's done. But if they bring it back, it's a great opportunity for them to make a splash. I tell everyone, treat your podcast launch like a book launch.
Yeah.
Like give it the same love. Throw a party, like have a group of people, like get a street team of people who are going to post it. Have a banger guest, have someone you're so excited who's in your niche that you know who's going to share it. Like really treat it as like kind of this influential, monumental moment. That's how you'll get top ranked, but also like what's going to bring, I think, some gusto around your brand.
I think that that's really solid advice. You said threads, so I want to pick on that thread.
Yeah.
Talk to us about social media and, what are you seeing in 2026 and what are you doing for your clients? What are things that we all need to be keeping our eyes and ears, peeled for and applying to our businesses?
Yeah. Well, more and more, I'm definitely seeing community being the core of social media, right? Which is that, really building know, like, and trust with your audience. We've had clients come to us with massive followings. They're like, I can't sell this $10 product, right? Like you need to be in your DMs. You need to be talking to people, especially in the age of AI. We're looking for relationship. So, you showing up is so important. And that is actually why I think Threads has been so successful. Threads has so many stats. I not even one single one's coming to mind, but so many stats about like how it's like outpacing Blue Sky. Like it's like going like so fast. People are like loving Threads because it's actually a very like kind environment. Like people are like generally pretty high vibe, but
except they're coming after Jenna.
just Jenna. Unfortunately, just Jenna and Amy Porterfield. I know. I'm so sad.
Why are they going after Amy?
Something about meat sticks. I think she's like, she did an affiliate deal with some like, but Americans love, sorry, this is off topic, but Americans, you guys love these little protein meat sticks. They just like aren't as big in Canada. Okay. And everyone's just eating these protein. I'm like, let Amy eat them too. Everybody eats them here.
Okay.
Yeah. But anyway, so people are coming after Jenna and Amy, but no one else. But what I will say is it's a really great like opportunity for people to connect, like, and like quick-witted, you're able to share little pieces of information. I've done a ton of event sales on Threads because if you use it properly, it can be hyper local. So you can say, this is how many tickets I've sold. This is like what I'm doing. Here are speakers. You can do more long form content if you want. You could take an Instagram caption and split it into a few. And because it's a newer platform, like any new platform, guys, if you ever come across one, that's the opportunity for you to be a thought leader, right? Because you're the first on there. LinkedIn, there's only 1% of people who are on LinkedIn post. So your stuff's coming up, right? Like it's coming up more than it is on Instagram. It's going to live longer than it is on Instagram. So I would say people are looking for more personalized content. They're looking to feel like they know you. We're even seeing that more on LinkedIn as well. Like that it's like video content's coming up. People are sharing like personal stories all the time. Like, and that never used to be what it was, right? It was just job updates for a long time. But now people are like, oh, I, walked across the street and this is what it taught me about sales. Like, everyone's like writing all of these things. So I think, guys, like, of course, still outsourcing is very possible and good, but how can you bring your founder story in as well?
That's such solid advice on just thinking about social in the right way. I do 100% believe it's knowing where your audience is at as well. You don't need to pick all the channels.
Yep.
And so like know where your current audience is at. If you have a business product, you need to be on LinkedIn.
Yeah.
Right. If you have a product-based company, you need to be on Instagram.
If your ideal client is 80, you don't need to be on TikTok, right?
Yes.
Like, so yes, party where your people are.
Party where your people are. I love that. This is great. And I'm going to actually go take a look at Threads today and see.
You kill it.
My thing about adding another platform is I don't want it to add more work.
Yeah. The thing about Threads that's actually I find relaxing is that it is very impersonal, like it's personal and like fun. Like you can post like little things. You'd be like, this is something that I'm thinking about today. This is like, it gives like old MySpace.
Old MySpace. I like it. Old Twitter too, right? Because it's old Twitter. Okay, awesome. We're definitely going to go check that out. And then the last third thing I wanted to talk about before this podcast ends, and we'll definitely have you back on and all the things, is events and community building. Yeah. So yes, we know that as we need to create incredible community around our brands. And that goes for all kinds of companies. Like now community is the hot topic across product-based companies, whether you're a lip gloss, whether you're a children's clothing brand, whether you are an agency. How do you even go about first starting to think about community if you don't have one today?
Yeah, I would start small. It doesn't have to be the $10,000 mastermind or event. Like, it's about your local community. Like, going and asking somebody who could be a power partner, which is somebody, in my opinion, who doesn't sell the same thing as you, but sells to the same audience. Having a coffee with someone like that. Like, for example, a great power partner for me is a web designer. I love web designers. We meet, they don't want to do social or podcasting. I will never design a website. We're great referral partners for each other. And so going in and just saying, like, how can I be of service to you? What do you have going on right now? How can I be helpful?
I like the power partner.
Yeah. And like really trying to move the needle for people in that way. So I would say, going out for coffee. I one time got the advice, like, meet someone new every day. Even if it's just a digital meeting, like a quick half-hour connection call. Ask your network, hey, I'm looking to meet more people like this, and I'm in a season where I have some time. I would love to meet some people. So I think that those are some great ways to start. And then, of course, going to events is a great way to also be building community and building up your brand. And I'm just such a big believer, too. Like, I'm not like super woo, but like when you're in the energy of being around a lot of people and like connecting, my business always skyrockets whenever I'm at events. Like, and not even from like what's happening in that room. It's like people seeing you out and about, people seeing like what you're up to. People are curious creatures.
I love that. I mean, I got to talk about my event here right now. So we got to do that right now. You just plugged it in. So amazing. And your event, you have an event coming up in March.
Yep.
I have an event right now coming up. So February 19th and 20th, it's the Unicorn Summit. I'm like, why haven't I haven't even done a podcast episode just about the Unicorn Summit, which is like, we need to get into the room. I recorded so many awesome interviews right before the holidays. So I like to batch my content. But we've got the Unicorn Summit coming up February 19th in Orlando. It's my home. It's the first time. All of you are invited to my hometown. Like, it is going to be incredible. For me, 250 is intimate. We could have had a, 1,500 person event, how large our community is. We wanted to keep it intimate. And we've got just the most powerhouse speakers. I'll be there with you. We're having, DJ, dance party. We're doing all the things, but most importantly, it's the learnings, right? It's the playbooks, it's the connections, it's the people. I cannot wait to meet you and give you a hug and come into the room. I'll be linking a special code, which is actually a code that I'm going to give to your audience.
Yeah.
Bestie is what we're deciding for this podcast episode, because you've inspired me to really like just, your community is just so connected. And I want that for us too. So come connect with us, be our bestie. We'll see you in Orlando at the Unicorn Summit. And tell us about your event that's happening in Canada.
Yes.
A reason to go to Toronto.
Yes. So it's a March 7th.
Besides maple syrup. That's all I think of. Drake,
maple syrup.
That's a reason to go to Toronto.
Yes. Lots of good stuff. So High Vibe Women's what my event's called. And we're expecting around 200 women here in just outside of Toronto there. And it's going to be amazing. It's a full day experience, lots of speakers, live podcasts, like so many cool things, live workshops. So everything from like the tactical to the inspirational, we do everything in between. We've got amazing brands doing activations. It's going to be just amazing. So I'm so excited. And you can use the code podcast50 at highvibewomen.ca.
Thank you.
Yeah, of course. And any friend of Suneera's is a friend of mine. So we would love to welcome you.
We will. I'll be there.
I'm
gonna be there. I'm gonna be there in a couple of your events.
Yes, I can't wait. I know. I was like, Suneera, we gotta get you to Toronto. The women are gonna love you. They're gonna scoop you right up.
Yes. It's a year of yes, guys. It's 2026. When we sat down and we were talking about, the year of the snake and the year of the horse, and it actually starts this next lunar cycle. So it's February 17th is the new year, technically. And this new decade it's exciting to be, or this, like, because it's the new, like it's numerology as well. It's like the new 10. So it's the new 1. I'm learning right now, so I'm not that woo yet, but I do believe in energy, and it does feel right. Like, it does feel like this last year felt hard. Like, it felt a lot. There was a lot happening. And on paper, like, of course, business is great and life is great and all the things are great, but it still felt like a grind a bit. And I'm just really excited for space this next year. And I'm excited it just feels really aligned going into 2026. And I've been hiding a bit. So for the last, I was on her podcast earlier and I was like, I haven't been on a podcast in over a year. I've been hiding. I've been just getting by with the things that I have to do and doing them like with all intentionality. But I'm so excited for my season of yes right now. And I'm like, yeah, I'll be there. Yes, let's do that. Yes, let's get it together. And it's all about that in-person energy. So we'll see you there. We'll see you at the conference. Kristina's a dynamite powerhouse. We're going to follow you on Insta. I'll link everything in the show notes as I always do. If you love today's episode, screenshot it. Say hello. Send us a DM. Post it on your stories and let us know what your biggest takeaway was, what you loved. And tag us on social. So we'd really appreciate that. Without you, this podcast does not grow. So please, please, please take 2 minutes and do that for us and go check out our incredible events. I hope to see you guys personally in a couple weeks in Orlando, sunny Orlando, Florida. So if you're listening to this and you're freezing your bum off right now,
You're in Canada.
you're driving. Yeah, you're in Canada. It is so beautiful outside. It is warm, and it's in 1 month, it's going to be so sunny. And so I want to invite you, and you'll be with your favorite Sunny. So,
Yeah. Oh, so sweet.
yeah, I'll see you guys later on next week's episode on CEO School. Take care, everyone.